everyone for joining us for our How to Choose a Breast Pump and Get Insurance to Pay for It webinar. I'm Chelsea Allison, and I am the founder of Motherfigure, a maternal wellness startup that's focused on lowering the barriers to support and empowering moms and moms-to-be. We have a national community-driven provider directory where you can find support near you or virtually. We also have a magazine, and we sell products. I'm joined today by Courtney. Super excited to get her perspective. So Courtney, I'll let you introduce yourself. She's really the pro on all things pumping.
Breast pumps, yes. I'm Courtney Marquez. Like she said, I work with Neb Medical Services, studying to be a lactation consultant, and also personal experience breastfed both my boys in total for going on 5.5 years now. So been pregnant and breastfeeding for 7 years. Pregnant or breastfeeding, I should say.
Yes, such an accomplishment.
Yes, but I think everyone, even if you just breastfeed for 1 day, 1 minute, 1 feed, it's beneficial for you and the baby. So whether it's long distance.
Absolutely. So true. So true. Okay, well, let's dive in. I'd love, Courtney, if you could tell us a little bit about how to evaluate the landscape of breast pumps and sort of what should we be looking for when it comes to evaluating the different dimensions of different pumps.
Okay, so first we'll start with the different types of breast pumps that there are on the market right now. We have manual breast pumps. I don't have one to show you, but basically it looks pretty similar to a kit. It just has a little handle on the back and you would squeeze manually. There's manual breast pumps. I always recommend everyone who's a breastfeeding mother to get a manual breast pump because it's so simple. Throw that thing in your bag. And I see my cousin, she actually uses it all the time just to do a quick little, pressure alleviation if she needs some, get a little milk out and kind of move on with the day. So those are super simple and easy. Next would be a personal double electric breast pump. Very different from a manual. You're not going to get the same milk flow from a manual as you are a personal double electric. However, they both serve a purpose. Double electric breast pump is going to be more like, we'll go over them today, but your standard heavy duty, big pumps that can get milk out of both breasts at the exact same time. There's also silicone pumps. We're kind of calling these things milk catchers now. I would say the popular one on the market today is the Haka. Simply kind of just looks like a little cup with a little flange on it, and it actually suctions to the breast, and you can give it some squeezes while you're using it, and it's actually catching milk for mom. Those are wonderful to have as well. And then the last would be like a multi-user hospital grade. So much controversy on hospital grade pumps where people are always thinking they're bigger, better, stronger, faster. And really the difference between a hospital grade pump and a personal double electric is the motor. That's it. The motor of a hospital grade pump is made to last 5 to 7+ years. So you're talking the Mercedes-Benz of cars in breast pumps. It's going to last a very long time. Where a personal double electric has a warranty of 1 to 2 years. That's it. So these guys are literally single user. They're made for 1 to 2 years, depending on the warranty of each one. They each will have their own warranty, and you really need to check into that. So that's really the only difference. The MMHG, which is the suction that it's pulling, is actually the same. I have some charts that we can see on some hospital grade pumps and some personal double electrics. That's actually the same. You'll just need a new kit, but what the difference is the motor.
Amazing.
So from that, once you kind of figure out what you're looking at, we would then kind of go down and talk about characteristics of pumps. The first one would be strength, and that's what everyone talks about, right? Strength. What you're really trying to say, I think, is the motor. And that's what I just kind of touched on, to where a personal double electric is fine. It does a fabulous job for so many moms when it's just you using it. Now, especially it's different if you're pumping once a week or if you're a full-time pumper pumping 8 times a day. I mean, that's going to really put a shot to the motor differently if you're only pumping once a week or 8 times a day. So that's where sometimes that hospital grade pump can do a better job for a mom who's pumping for twins, or a mom who's exclusively pumping and has latching issues or nipple issues or all the things, baby issues. That's where a hospital grade pump can do a better job in the beginning of really giving you that opportunity to have a pump that's going to last and sustain all your pumping sessions.
Right.
The next thing I think is suction. people always are going to be talking about suction. So really, again, what we're talking about, and this is for another topic for us to touch on, but in order to get really great suction, really all it is you need to get your parts on exactly the way that they're supposed to be on. Don't forget this part. Don't forget the valve. Everyone drops or forgets to put them on, or if you have the Medela with the little white little thing that goes on top of it, you forget that part, it's not going to work. So all pumps, again, are pretty much have the same MHG for suction. It just comes down to getting your parts on correct. From there, we're going to talk about open closed systems. What that means, and a quick way to say it, is basically that an open system pump has no barrier between the milk collection kit and the actual motor. There's one brand on the market that still has an open system pump, and that's Medela. We have to just mention that for safety, but we know moms have been pumping the pumps for 50 plus years probably. Every other pump right now on the market that we carry is a closed system, which means there is a barrier between your collection kit and your actual motor. So there is no milk going to get into the cords, into the tubing, or into the motor. Some people are,
So just pausing there for a moment, can you talk a little bit about what does that mean for the Medela and that open system, and if the milk were to kind of cross that barrier, what do you need to do from a hygienic perspective? How do you need to sterilize it? What other things should you bear in mind if you're going with the Medela or an open system?
I just know with Medela pumps, again, people have been using them for so long. So it's a really fine line to walk on, to where so many moms have used them with no problems. However, I have heard of many people getting milk caught in their tubing, and you have to buy new tubing. I mean, I would, if it was me. You can sterilize it. I know before you use any kit and after you use your bottles, I used to just boil water and put my stuff in it just to be safe no matter what. So you can boil the tubing and everything, but I would feel like after a while that's going to start to break down because it's just plastic. So I would buy new tubing. If you're suspecting you're getting milk back into the motor, to be honest, I don't really know what to do after that. And I would call Medela right away. The thing we're going to think about when we're talking about pumps is portability and discreet. So I'm just going to grab this one for a second. This is a pump. This is a breast pump. It's so tiny compared to this one, which is the one I keep grabbing, the Motif. So we're talking about portability and discreet here. We're meaning, something so tiny, something so small. Here's the Spectra, here's the bowling ball compared to this. So it depends.
Amazing.
Pros and cons to every single one. But if I was a pumping mother that had to get on public transportation or pump in my car, comes with this little lanyard. You wear it around your neck, and the tubing pops off to the side, and you can literally hide it in your shirt. No one would even know you're pumping it. I can turn it on for you as well, so we can hear the sound. Can you hear that at all?
No. Wow. Really discreet. Yeah.
It's very, very quiet. So if you were on a public transportation and people were minding their own business and doing their thing, no one would really have any idea you were even pumping. I can barely hear it because I'm in this very quiet room. So I think that's a really important thing for women, especially working or moms going back to school or whatever it may be, that you have to be out of the house or maybe sometimes not in a private office, to look at a pump and really take some consideration into the size, if that really is going to impact your breastfeeding journey. Considering things like that. Portability, again, like we just talked about, so small, discreet. Obviously, this guy is the winner all day. This is the baby Buddha. Noise level, so we kind of just touched on that. I'm going to pop on this one for you really quick to see if you can hear it. Are you hearing that?
I hear it a little bit. Yeah.
So that's the loudest it's going to go.
Yeah. Okay.
Got a little bit of a sound. It's very similar to your Spectra. Which is being very quiet right now, but. And I know you use the Spectra, so do you want to talk about?
I do.
Noise impact your
absolutely.
Or
yeah, so I use the Spectra S1, which is the battery powered version of the Spectra. So Courtney's holding the S2, which is pink. The S1 is blue. That's really the only difference. The S1 comes with a rechargeable battery, which for me was super helpful when I was toting it to and from the office. I was able to just pop it in my bag. I was sure that it was always charged. I would charge it overnight, and it just made it so that I didn't need to be near an outlet, and so I wasn't fully tethered. Now, as Courtney said, it is a bowling ball, and so it doesn't have the portability. I was always kind of stationed somewhere, but I didn't need to be near an outlet, which when I was pumping, that made a difference because it opened up a different universe of possibilities, be it the couch or so on, for me to pump. I chose the Spectra because I, like many, had heard good things about its strength and its suction power, and it did work really well for me. I pumped more than 2,000 ounces through my pumping journey, donated 1,000 of those ounces as I was breastfeeding my son. And so it worked really well to retrieve that milk. And I, like Courtney said, loved how quiet it was. I would be on conference calls and no one had any idea that I was pumping, which made a difference for me in terms of just kind of compartmentalizing the things that I was having to balance as a working mom.
And then did you take into consideration all those things before you chose the pump, or were you more of just one of the, well, I'll try the Spectra because I have heard it was great?
So for me, you know, I did a lot of research in addition to asking for word of mouth. Where I was, and I don't think the Motif or the Baby Buddha were either on the market or on my radar at the time that I was looking.
Yeah, they're both newer.
And so for me, it was really coming down to two of the most popular brands, Spectra and Medela. And what we just touched on, it became really important to me to have a closed system. I didn't feel confident not knowing that it was closed. I just wasn't sure. I was already so worried about sterilization and hygiene, and just having the peace of mind of a closed system kind of put the Spectra over the edge for me.
Good. Yeah, I love that because I'm in the same boat with you. The pump I used to use with both my kids, I had two of them, was the Amita Pump and Style, I think, of Purely Yours, not on the market anymore.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that was a big thing for me too, was I knew it was closed system. It was about this big. It was so tiny. It throw it in my bag. So where I didn't do a ton of research on it, because again, we're talking 6 years ago with my oldest, there wasn't as many options, and people weren't, hey, reminding us, guys, take a look at all the things.
Right.
I knew the open and closed system thing, and I was like you, like, I'm not going to take a chance. I'm just going to go ahead and.
Yeah, exactly. All that is to say, though, I know so many people who have had such good success with their Medela pumps, no issues whatsoever. So
on this, we're going to just touch on this really quick with this virus, obviously going on right now, pumping and sterilizing and doing all the things for breastfeeding mothers. It's extra important now that we are boiling our parts before and after. You don't want to be spraying sanitizer or using anything like that on them. We want to boil them in water. Probably be more washing hands, because they are encouraging mothers to, yes, definitely keep breastfeeding, and yes, definitely keep pumping if you have to. Just be very cautious. So I'm saying boil. You can't boil enough. If you have to spend a few extra dollars on, or if someone needs extra parts and they can't afford it, call me and I'll see if I can get something for you. Because things are going to start to break down after all the boiling. But right now, I would just continue to boil.
Yep.
So you already touched on it a little bit, but the next thing I was going to talk about was power sources. That all the pumps are run on different power sources, and that's extremely important as well, with discrete portability, noise, and the Nexus power source, to where my old one was rechargeable. No, I had to put batteries in it. So that could be an extra expense for people, to where it's either a rechargeable battery, or you're having to put 6 or 8 AA batteries in there. So that can be a very, added expense if you're pumping a lot. So like you just said, this is the S2. It is not rechargeable battery. The only thing that's different between the S2 and the 1 is the rechargeable battery. That's it. Everything else is identical. The Motif is brand new. So this one absolutely was not on the market when you got your pump. This guy is not rechargeable as well. But this little fella, I'm charging right now on the computer. It's USB. So
I was going to say, it looks like just like a cell phone charger. Yeah, amazing.
I tried my Apple just to see. It didn't work. So it comes with its own little USB, but I'm plugging it into the computer right now. So that's super cool. And then the other options, obviously, we just talked about. Medela just added a battery pack to their Pump and Style, which is new. Before that, they had no other options, and then rechargeable battery is a lot of them. So, and those can last anywhere between, I think, like 8 and 10 hours. So I think every night you would need to be charging.
Yep.
Is that how your Spectra was?
Yep.
And then it would last a day?
Well, for me, I didn't have to charge it every day. I ended up only having to charge it much less frequently than that because I wasn't actually using it for 10 hours at a time.
Right. You were just pumping it. Yeah.
Exactly.
So if we're talking an exclusive pumping mom that's pumping 6, 7, 8 times a day, you would definitely need to charge that a lot.
Absolutely.
And we got to remember too that although these are rechargeable, although we have different options, you're going to get your best power or strength from a wall plug-in. That's at the end of the day, there's been studies done on that truly is going to give you your best motor power. But in times of needing to use it without that wall charger, it's completely fine. But if you're going on your 8th pumping session of a day or something, if you have a newborn, at the end of the day, that thing's probably not going to be as strong, your motor, as it was in the beginning. So let's try to plug that in. Even if between the days, if you're using it, you have somewhere you see you can plug it in for 15 minutes into the wall or whatever to charge it up a little more, it's worth doing it. If you go to the manufacturer's website, a lot of them will have car chargers, other options that you can purchase. What I don't recommend is I've seen a lot of women buying things off Amazon that aren't branded. I will not recommend that to you, but you can do what you need to do. Let's see, the Spectra has a little light. I don't know if we're even going to be able to see it. Did you see it light up? I know you know it has a little light.
Yep.
Motif also has a little light. So we'll talk about these at the end, but you can kind of see it. Just a little glow. So I know at nighttime and things, that's nice. But really with features, what we're talking about, and this could go on a lot, and I'm just going to be short on this, is really going to be cycles. Further, the Spectra, the Motif, the Baby Buddha is actually it's all fancy here. It's a roll. So you're actually just rolling buttons to switch cycles. So it's not too challenging, but again, people get really confused on what cycle am I pumping on? What number am I supposed to be on? You know, it was going to mean strength, but that's something you really need to take a look at is this thing going to be in my comfort zone to be able to use appropriately? Because if you're not using it appropriately, it's not going to do the best job for you.
Absolutely.
That is a good thing where we have videos on our website, nebmedicalservices.com, to show how to use all the pumps. But I'm also just going to say YouTube. So many moms are doing such a great job of stepping through this and showing you how to use the thing. Next is technology. So this is something new, and a lot of pumps, the 3 that I have here, I wouldn't say have any technology on them, but there is the Lancino Smart Pump that hooks up to an app, and the app actually stores all of your breastfeeding information. So what time you started pumping, it syncs the milk right from the bottles into the app of how much you've just pumped. There's also a spot on there you can put diaper outputage, which is great for when you are seeing a lactation consultant in the beginning. They always want to know, diaper outputage. And then same with pediatrician. Medela have that option as well. The Sonata, and there might be one more that has the option for an app as well. So those are kind of cool if you're into that. Right. Replacement parts is super important because we talked about that. You're going to lose things. These aren't so bad, but I remember my old Amida valves were duckbill, just like this. It's a duckbill, but it was real small, and I would drop them down my dishwasher, the sink, all the time. And they say actually about every 2 months you need to actually replace these if you're pumping quite a bit. So you got to think about that. If you're traveling, if you're gone a lot, you're not going to find Motif replacement parts in the store. You're not. You're going to find Medela. You may find Spectra now. Lancino maybe. All of this can be repurchased on our website. We have extra parts, and all the manufacturers' websites. But if you're traveling a lot and you're gone and you need replacement parts, you might want more of a standard brand like the Medela that you can get your parts in any big brand name store.
Such a good point.
We have Amazon, obviously. And that's good now. Not everyone has that option. And I don't check frequently to see what parts they even have on there, but replacement parts is something that you're going to need. Okay, breast shield, flange sizes. This is super important. And this kind of bothers me sometimes because, so I just opened the Motif kit. We have one flange size in here. It comes with one, a size 24. I actually wanted to use this pump today. I wanted to try it, but a 24 is too big for me. So I have no other option right now. So if I was a brand new breastfeeding mom and had no idea, which I was 6 years ago, I would just probably use this because I wouldn't know
Yeah.
any size. If this is not proper, you need to order another one or whatever. I looked on their website too, and I don't see any other options for sizing. So I'm not quite sure about this. Brand new, but flange sizing is something that's incredibly important. And most pumps are coming with one size, if not some come with two. So that's a good option for you. If you're not sure where you are with sizing, it's always good to get something that gives you two different options with sizing.
Yep.
It will totally impact your breastfeeding journey, negative or positively, if you don't have the right flange fitting. So this is for another call, but we have a brand called Rumble Tough, and they actually offer, I think, 15 different flange sizes.
Oh, wow. Wow.
If maybe a mom has had breast surgeries, augmentations, something happened, you already know you have odd shaped nipples, you have, different sized nipple breasts, you're going to have to maybe highly look at a pump that has several options of breast shields or flanges that will really work well for you. Because if you get into a pump like this that only has one size, I'm not really sure what the other options are. There's something called Pumpin' Pals you can buy, and I think they fit in, but not even.
Yeah. Courtney, could you touch on just a little bit like what the rule of thumb is for like how to think about what flange size is appropriate for you?
Yes. So you want to actually measure the nipple. You do not want to have anything to do with the areola. So we're talking breast, areola, nipple. We're actually just talking about the nipple. We want to measure it in millimeters with up and down. So get a little ruler or have husband or partner help you measure. And then we're going to add on 4 extra millimeters to that to get you a roundabout size that could potentially fit you when you're sizing. A 24 and a 28 size flanges are what comes standard. Like I just told you, the 24 is actually a little bit big for me. And now I'm thinking back on my own journey when I was breastfeeding my first and pumping a lot, I was probably using a flange that was too big.
Right.
You know that's not right. And I was extremely lucky to be able to still fill a bottle and pump a ton of milk, but I was also in unnecessary pain. So
right.
I want to measure that. And the only thing you're wanting to go into the flange is your actual nipple. You're not wanting, if a little bit of areola is going into and it's not uncomfortable, that's okay. But if you're getting a lot of areola and the nipple into the flange, it's too big. If you're only getting your nipples not even going in, it's too small. So we kind of need to look at it and find a size that fits for you comfortably.
There's a sweet spot. Yeah, that's the thing. Pumping is not supposed to be uncomfortable. Like it's not supposed to hurt your nipples or cause a rash or anything like that. And so if you're experiencing issues like that, it might be a sign that the flange size is wrong.
It's totally wrong. And the simple fix for that is not simple. I shouldn't say that, is reaching out to a lactation consultant or a CLC, someone
absolutely.
Wife maybe, be able to help someone who's right there and help you get a size. And that's where their pump I'm talking about, the Rumble Tough, they have 15 different sizes. I mean, it's amazing. That's great.
Yeah, that is.
The other thing, I'm going to grab something else really quick to show you with that. This is coming standard on a lot of pumps recently too. So this is the Baby Buddha kit. And what this is a silicone insert that's attaching to the flange. So these are the traditional flanges, obviously. The inserts, a couple of our pumps are coming standard with these nice little, they're calling them massage inserts, but I actually measured it on me. I think I can actually get away with this. It's actually making the flange smaller. Yeah. And it's silicone. Actually help kind of massage the breast a little bit and then make the pump a little more comfortable. And for me, it actually made it a little bit smaller. So some of the pumps. Yeah, so that's that. Let's see, and then that's it. I'm at the bottom of that. So those are a couple of things, several things that I think we need.
Lots of things to consider. Exactly. I wonder if you could also touch on, Courtney, I think there's been a lot of talk, and as we think about portability and kind of incorporating pumping into a mom's daily life, some of the kind of hot topics right now are pumps that kind of insert into your bra, like the Willow and Elvie come to mind. I wonder if you could touch on those briefly.
Yeah, so I guess we're calling those hands-free. Until those kind of came out, I'm saying I think the Baby Buddha kind of fell into that hands-free, because if you have a hands-free bra, you can make them off. But I think those are really being called like hands-free or a wireless pump, they're calling, because there's no tubing or anything so unique. Those are modern. They're very new to the market. It's completely tube-free. Like I said, it sits right into your bra. So unlike a double electric pump, they are sold by the single unit. So you have to buy, if you want to do 2 breasts, you have to buy 2, and they come with a hefty price tag. We're talking, I think, $500. There's already to get through right there. Where this is an option that's super cool, super convenient, super small, all the things, I think there's a few things that could go wrong with it, to where you can't see physically how much milk you're pumping. Where this, you can look down and see, can't see. So I've heard a lot of women saying they're feeling leaky. I'm thinking the bags are a little bit smaller. I'm not sure if you're actually going to get 5 ounces or not. And then unless you are an experienced breast pumper and or a mom that has a very good supply of milk, I'm just going to recommend that you use that pump as a secondary. I think that's safe. Again, like we talked about earlier, when you're using a pump that's plugged into the wall and has a nice hefty motor in there, you're going to get a lot better strength than this little. That's going to do the job. A lot of women have said that, but just to be safe, we are not recommending that it's your first pump of choice. Secondary pump probably would be amazing.
And just to unpack that a little bit, I think it's important to bear in mind that breastfeeding and breast milk supply is a supply and demand game. And so when you are separated from baby, or if you are an exclusive pumper and you're pumping frequently, the amount that you pump does have a major impact on your supply. And so I think where you're not drawing out enough milk, it becomes sort of a self-fulfilling supply issue, which is why this that you're touching on is so important for moms to consider, especially when they're new to pumping and maybe aren't sure where their supply is at.
That's 100% what it is. We've heard some lactation consultants say, and moms, personal friends I've done business with, say it felt like a sleeping baby on their breast. Well, I can tell you that a sleeping baby on your breast is not going to do anything but down quickly your milk supply, because that's like you just said, supply and demand here. So that's why we're not recommending it. Just need to be careful where we are when we're talking about it, because I'm sure it's still a great pump for some. The other thing I will mention, because we're on it and we're talking about it, is that I'm not sure about how many flange sizes they're having. It's not a flange looking like this. It's a very small. I've heard a lot of women say it's very painful, and there's 2 sizes.
Yeah.
And if you are a large breast, we're not even talking nipples and areola anymore. We're talking breast. If we are a large-breasted mom, the pump isn't really working so well, because you're already large breast and you're trying to fit
right.
Ads saying that women are running marathons with them, where that could be true. I'm just not certain that that's accurate for everyone. So we really need to take our own anatomy into consideration with everything we do, and especially when it comes to a pump like that we really just need to take our own anatomy into consideration as to, is this useful for me? Because
definitely
breast pumps cannot be returned. So let's just get that out there. You cannot return a breast pump. Once you have it, it's yours. Yeah.
Definitely. Great point.
What else do you want to talk about? Do you want me to show the Motif and the Spectra a little bit of how similar?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Okay. So like I just said, this full Spectra has been out for a while. We know that. This is the S2. The only thing different from the S1 is a rechargeable battery. This guy does not have a rechargeable battery. However, it is covered under insurance. At Neb Medical Services, we will check benefits for you. So you do not even have to call your insurance. Call us within 48 hours. Before everything that's going down now, we would get back to you within 48 hours. Right now, I'm not going to say, I'm not sure how long it will take our girls to get back to you. However, We have cycles. We're going to turn it on. We kind of already heard the sound a little bit. I don't know if we can hear it again, but again, we talked about it has a light, pretty big. I wouldn't say heavy, right? Did you ever feel like it was heavy?
No. I mean, it's a couple pounds, right? But not overly heavy. I mean, I think my laptop is heavier than my pump was. So it's definitely an added weight, and
yes,
any pump is going to bring with it lots of logistics, but but it was fine.
But we're talking two totally different.
I think the nice thing about the Spectra is I always knew when I didn't have it, you know, like I wasn't walking out the door without it, because there was that,
I gotta grab it.
Physical reminder of the weight.
Yes, yes, I need to grab it. So we have many different cycles. We have different expression modes and massage modes. Now that's something you could probably talk on a little bit too, is the expression and the massage mode. Like, what did you use? What did you like? What was comfortable for you? Because I know that is the most confusing part for so many.
Yep. So I would use the rapid expression mode to help trigger the letdown reflex, which most pumps are going to have something like that. Even your manual pumps will have a setting that kind of facilitates that rapid suction that even your baby will do to trigger that letdown. As soon as I would get the letdown, I would switch to the setting that was right for me. And the setting, and that's kind of the key. There's going to be a different setting that's right for each pumping mom. And I worked with a lactation consultant to help facilitate every aspect of my breastfeeding journey, including pumping. And so the advice that I received was to find the lowest, slowest setting that effectively drew out the milk. And so I kind of did some troubleshooting to figure out like what is comfortable, what is low and slow essentially, and what was still drawing out an adequate supply for me. And so I think the rapid setting on my Spectra S1 is something like a 70 in terms of how fast it's going, and my low and slow was a 40. And so that ended up being the setting that worked for me.
I think as I'm playing with it, sometimes I think even for moms who are like scared to put it on and even try, I tell people you can just look. I don't know if you can see this guy, but you can even just look at the back and see you know, what it's doing.
You can see how fast it's moving.
You can see the fast, you can see it going slower, faster. So that's a good rule of thumb too, if you're scared to put it on first and then play with it. If you want to kind of play with it first and watch the valve and the membranes kind of doing their thing.
That's a great point. Yeah, I love that.
So the Motif is oddly similar. Very oddly similar. We're a little bit more of a moon, smaller shape here, but all the buttons and everything look pretty much the same. I just unplugged it. I'm not going to turn it on, but everything we have the cycles, we have the strength, and then we have the modes to switch from expression and massage mode. Power, we have a light, and it's not rechargeable. So these two right here are pretty much the same. I haven't found anything yet that's very different, because even we're talking the kit looks very, very similar. So if I find something that I think is very different between them, I will let you know. But at this moment, one has a handle and one does not. That's about where we are. I think either one of these and would do a really great job for you. And I like how you said that you utilize the lactation consultant for breastfeeding and pumping. I think that's the first thing I tell every pregnant woman is make sure you get the ones in the hospital can be great, or you find one that's, you know, individually that she works for herself or whatever.
Exactly.
Breastfeeding is normal and natural, but it's not easy, and the baby needs to learn and mom needs to learn. So yeah, that's kind of
absolutely.
What else? Is there anything I missed or anything else you want to?
I'd love it if maybe just to wrap up, you could tell us a little bit more about Neb and sort of how it works to get your pump covered by insurance. And you mentioned already that Neb will take care of checking your benefits if you're in Illinois and Wisconsin, but I'd love it if you could just walk us through that a little bit, because I think that's so important to making this like critical piece of equipment affordable and accessible for more people.
Yeah, and at most time that can be free. So that's a thing that I think even, I take it for granted because I've been doing this for a while. And in 2013, I believe, we were actually able to start getting breast pumps for free. And some women don't even know that's an option still. So Neb Medical Services, we're located in Mokina. We have been in business for 15 years. So we have a form on our website that is probably the easiest way to get the process started. You do not have to call your insurance first. I probably talk to 2 to 3 people a day saying they talk to their insurance and X, Y, and Z, and they're confused. Our girls, our customer service team, will call your insurance for you. We work with a third party that checks all benefits for you. So while we're in this crisis right now, I'm not sure how long it's going to take them to get back to you. However, I already said this, we're still working and qualify forms can still be filled out. We are still shipping breast pumps, all the things. So maybe we can share it somehow, but we have a qualify form on our website, nebmedicalservices.com. Big button in the corner, it says qualify here. If you are an Illinois or a Wisconsin resident, fill out the form. It's quick. Within usually 24 to 48 hours, we will get back to you sharing your benefits, sharing with you what pumps were covered. We have, adding these two now, I think we have 20 pump options. And I don't mean 20
Amazing.
different pumps. We probably have about 10 and a half, 11, maybe different brands. What we have is a lot of these pumps come with upgrade options. So where they're going to come to you and say, okay, this Motif Luna is free or covered for you. There could be an option for you to spend another $30, $40 and get a bag.
Sure.
Back to letting you know all your options. And then from there, I would say the next step for you, mom, would be to start researching the options that they give you that are free. Unless you don't want anything to do with the ones that are free for you and you have disposable income and you want to pay out of pocket, you surely can do that too. But I think every pump that we have is excellent, and every pump that we have will definitely be able to work for you. And you're usually between 3 to 5 options, depending on your insurance, and even Medicaid. Hear me out. Even Medicaid gets the free breast pump, one every 5 years. And the options for Medicaid, one of my favorite breast pumps is called the Zomi. It covers every bucket we just talked about. Chargeable battery, options of flanges. It's little, it's quiet. Great, great options for moms. So then from there, you would just get back to us, letting us know what option that you chose. Our customer service team is all bilingual. There's 3 of them. They all speak Spanish, and they're all ready to help you if you have any questions regarding your pump. I have been working with them, trying to help them ask mom questions like we just went over. If mom calls and is very confused, so we'll try to help you the best we can find a pump for your lifestyle.
Great.
And then we ship it out to you within 30 days of your due date is the earliest you can get your pump. Now, if baby comes sooner, mom, grandma, partner, anyone calls our office and says baby's here or baby's coming, please expedite the pump. Okay, no problem. So that's it. It's pretty simple.
Amazing. Yeah.
For anyone who has purchased a pump through us or got their free pump through us to offer, I think it's 20 or 25% off if you want to purchase a second pump. So that's the thing we didn't touch on, is that a lot of working moms like to keep one at home and like to take one at work. And then there's no transporting back and forth. It's just keep it there, one at home, totally fine. And that's where if you wanted to buy a second one, we'd give you a discount. Maybe like a Buddha or something that's a secondary option is pretty cool. So we have that option as well. And we also have different parts on our website too that you can purchase, as well as some diaper bags and pump holding bags, I guess.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Amazing. Such a helpful service. I think just kind of navigating that maze of insurance and also understanding that insurance can make pumps free is such a game changer for so many of us.
Yeah, and the one thing we didn't touch on that I'm going to touch on, if you have insurance, it gives you a pump one every pregnancy. So there's a couple different options with insurance, and that's why we're saying every single one of us has different insurance benefits, so they have to be checked.
Yep.
Some are one every 5 years, some are one every pregnancy. If you have the option and the privilege to get a pump every pregnancy, I recommend doing it. And it's for that simple fact of the motor that we talked about in the beginning. If you had a baby and you pumped a bunch for a year or 2, and then you stuck that thing in your closet for a year or 2. I have almost 4 years with 2 of my kids. That pump is not going to work the same as it did the first day you opened it. every
I think that's it. Yeah, this has been so helpful. Thank you so much for walking us through everything. And I should mention too, we talked a lot about lactation consultants, and on Motherfigure's directory, the Motherload, we have tons of different lactation consultants that provide either in-home or virtual support. And so you might start there to check it out and see if you can find support in your area from an IBCLC or a CLC.
Yeah, and everyone's offering virtual right now, everyone. And thank God.
Especially right now. Yeah.
Even me, I mean, if there's questions, comments, concerns, Neb Medical is on Facebook, we're on Instagram. I'm here, so if anyone has questions, comments, concerns regarding pumps, regarding pieces, I just actually sent a mom an extra flange that she was in desperate need for that I had in my kits. So if there's anything, you know, we can do to help, just give us a call or a text. Or
wonderful.